Well, this whole Actors and Writers Guild strike seems to be working out just well, isn't it? For the studios, that is. As the studio's stated plan, of course, is to starve the actors out and only return to the negotiation table round about the point where they're running out of money and have to sell their houses. Well, they're running out of money. Quickly, as it turns out. Celebrity video site sees a surge of actor signups in the wake of the strike. The surge is 137% of new signups and reactivated accounts on a site called Cameo. So Cameo is a site where famous people can charge you some money for personalized messages, either a text message, I presume, or some text, or a personalized video message. And the prices can vary significantly, shall we say, with, for example, Kevin Smith, the man who finally destroyed He-Man, charging $1,000 for 22 seconds, a minute 40, a minute 30 of his time. Just like you and I would, of course. As the entire slant of this article is to try and go, oh, the actors you see, they're not as well off as you think. You can't hate them just because they're rich and famous. Most of them are just regular working class people, like you and I, totally normal, you see here. You just assume that they're making all this money, they're rich and famous, but the vast majority of them just aren't, Kalani said. Something like Cameo is certainly the better way for many of them to bridge the gap between having nothing and getting something. Well, isn't that just deeply sympathetic, now isn't it? Because you see, they don't even qualify for the $26,470 income threshold for their union health plan. Well, that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. They don't even get their union health plan. Well, what about, somebody currently engaging in the strike, for example, Rachel Ziegler. Now, credit where credit is due, she seems to be engaging with this more as a service to the fans than anything, as she only has the message option and it costs like $3. You know what? That's a nice thing. That is a wholesome thing to do. That is like, hey, you want a personal text message from me? Okay, the minimum charge on this site is like $3. Here you go. All right, I can respect that, but the only reason why the actors are allowed to do this is apparently because, they say here, Cameo for Business is something that literally has the Pope's blessings, that's SAG AFTRA, because of an agreement allowing actors to count their Cameo for Business earnings towards the health and pension benefit, so that $26,470 roof. Now, according to Celebrity Net Worth, Rachel Ziegler is worth $3 million. I don't know. I feel as if there's something a little bit off about this, but oh well. And she also, of course, recently appeared as she couldn't comment due to being a member of SAG AFTRA with the No Tears Left to Cry after being bullied viciously over, well, saying that she doesn't actually want to play Snow White and she doesn't like the character and she watches once as a kid and hated it, and now those mean old men are attacking her for it. It's a hard life being a famous actor, I tell you. Okay, here's the thing too, right? In theory, I actually kind of approve of the idea of this. You know, I don't mind it. It's a service, right? The actors take some of their valuable time and they may create a little bit of a personalized message for people to pay. Now, this is a bit of a joke, particularly from this individual. But Elisa Milano, $300, like, okay, relatively famous. Chris Wood, don't know who that is, but $500, all right, it's at least a middle-of-the-road thing. Melissa Benoist, I don't know who that is either, $400, $500, and Rachel Ziegler, who seems to be doing this mostly as a community thing, which, again, props where props is required. And I can't lie if I didn't say that I entered Henry Cavill in the search bar here for a moment, just to see. Tragically, he isn't there, mind you, otherwise I would have ordered one just for the shits and giggles of it. But this also exemplifies, of course, the kind of the bridging of the divide between the celebrity and the normal people, which is kind of the problem here. So this entire article is trying to frame this in a sympathetic light. Like, oh, the poor celebrities, you must help them. We know their image is in the gutter right now and everybody hates them because, well, they've become just normal people. That is the problem. Back in the day, a celebrity, an actor, was celestial entity. There was something beyond us, something grand, glorious, luminescent on the horizon. We knew diddly dick about them, and what little we did know, we usually tried to forget, frankly. And this allowed them to become idealized, perfected ideals, role models, something held up on a pedestal, and they were supposed to be that, because it allowed us to ignore their flaws. It allowed us to view them as the character on screen, rather than the dude in reality. Whereas today, with social media, too many of these actors spend a lot of their time making damn sure we view them as humanly as possible, including usually their off-the-wall, crazy-ass political beliefs or other absurdities. We know what the actors eat for breakfast now. We know what their food looks like, we know what their homes look like, we know what their dogs and their loved ones looks like, we know what their everything looks like. I mean, some of them have literally brought the cameras into their homes to show their entire lives, etc. And all of this initially kind of bridges the divide and humanizes them, which was initially a good thing for them because it made them feel more relatable. But in the long run, it tears down the pedestal. It means that they are no longer celebrities. They are no longer some grand, great celestial entity who very carefully keeps this image built up as well. Instead, they're just some rando. And when just some rando is charging $1,000 for a minute 40 seconds of ranting at you, you look at that and you go, hold on, you're whinging to me that you don't get paid enough. Rachel Ziegler is complaining to me that she doesn't have a healthcare, even as she is ruining something that a lot of people actually do care about. She is ruining many people's precious childhood memories. This is the issue. She is no longer on a pedestal because she has, with her own hands, torn the pedestal down. This is not Rachel Ziegler, the actor, the celestial entity. This is Rachel Ziegler, the random chick on social media who sends you a message, etc., that you can pay $3 to send it to you. And again, props to her for getting closer to her community, but it also impacts heavily on this. And on this, Rachel Ziegler, the bullying victim. Rachel Ziegler, the person who has literally said that she doesn't really care about the role, publicly, recordedly, that said that, oh no, Snow White isn't about love, little girls don't care about love anymore, it's about being an empowered, strong, powerful female protagonist, you see. And this is why they need puff pieces like these, which try to give it in as positive a slant as possible. It's going like, oh no, this is definitely fine. You know, they're trying to earn a little bit of money for their health. That's all. It's a little bit of health insurance. That's it. Like, you know, we're just waiting for our residual checks. We live paycheck to paychecks, you see, in our $100,000 mansions and so on. That's what's the recent example of that. And it doesn't work. You have humanized yourself to the point that when your platforms have your Cameo appearance cost $25,000, there is no real more sympathy there available. You've already placed yourself $1,700. You've placed yourself so far out of reach in your own self-worth that you actually, okay, there is a better way to put this. You wish to retain the value of the celestial being, of the actor, of the thing on the pedestal, whilst also being appreciated for the human being. You want all the protections and the benefits and the sympathies of being just a guy struggling to get along, and you also want all of the plaudits of being raised above the masses, about being an exception to the plebeian hordes. You want to be an actor, a celebrity, and a normal person at the same time. And that simply isn't how it works. It just isn't. It's the same with the idea of monarchy, for example. The kings of old were not people. They didn't have people privileges. Even today, they don't have people privileges if they wish to retain their position as monarchs. Like the king of Great Britain now, for example, can't just be a regular dude, because if he is, then people look at the monarchy as an institution and go, well, if it's just run by some guy, why do we want it? the institution needs gravitas, and its representative needs gravitas in turn. Otherwise, the institution does not exist, because the institution and the individual are non-separatable. They are one and the same. And the same was the case with actors. Like, at this rate, I damn near guarantee you that the bad will, the bad faith against the actors will simply build and build and build until we no longer have actors. In, I'm not going to say 10 years, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years, etc., a generation or so, we are not going to have celebrities in the same way as we once did. Oh, sure, we'll have affluent individuals you see on the television, sure, but they will not be the John Waynes, the Leonardo DiCaprios, etc. of the world, the perfect images of that creature, that thing, that above the plebeian horde. And they will also be brought down in their prices because of it, for the simple reason that nobody cares when a celebrity whines about not being paid. In fact, it makes us actively hostile towards you. And this is a lesson that SAG AFTRA and the Writers Guild are finally starting to learn now. And the Writers Guild for a slightly different reason, in that they've been producing garbage for the last few decades, and people don't think it's worth it. Weird, I know, and yet that's where we are right now. And the actors are now simply trying to, well, benefit from what they can, milking their fame and fortune for what it is, and if that means selling little, tidbit messages of yourself to the plebeians, then so be it. And I'm not even angry against the service in and of itself. Like I said, if Henry Cavill was on there, I'd do it for a laugh. I'd make it like the intro to my channel or something, for commercial purposes, like a radio call-out. I absolutely would. In fact, I'd love to. Or Johnny Rico. That'd be another fantastic one, There's a lot of interesting things you could do with this, but again, you cannot maintain the celebrity status and the just some guy status at the same time. You need to choose one, and you need to, well, cultivate it. The death of the celebrity. A good thing? I'd probably say so, frankly. They, once they had built the pedestal, once they were on the pedestal, they had their uses, they had their societal values, but now that they want both, well, they're just like a king who wants to be a normal guy. An irrelevancy. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.